What's up, guys? It is currently 10:23 right now. It's pretty late, actually. Um, guys, I'm breathing really fast or really hard because I was lifting weights before this, so that's why I'm like really like that's why you hear me breathe like really hard. So, guys, in this video I'm gonna be talking about why God may be making your life harder in a way, and the reason I want to talk about it is because I've seen in my own life how um God in my life He's made like a lot of things harder for me. And I mean the context of like making friends, um, getting in like relationships with like people, connecting with people. Everyone seems to be getting like everything seems like be how can I say this, excelling faster than me. And I don't say that to like be prideful or anything, but it's like, and everything for me has just always been harder to get, or I've always had to wait like a little bit longer. For me, it was just like, you know, I didn't have like this, I didn't have a father figure growing up. And so I'm not like wired the same way, Not, I don't mean that private way, like I said. I'm just like, God has, he has a different plan and purpose for me. And guys, take everything I say. I'm not saying to be prideful. And I don't want to keep saying this, but I'm just saying, I'm not telling this in a private way. I'm telling this from what I've experienced in my own life, and from what I've been researching in the Bible, like people like Job who had to suffer a lot for what God had for them. And honestly, I really relate to Job. He had a lot taken from him. Satan wanted to test Job to see test. He wanted to see if Job would suffer and have everything taken from him. Satan wanted to see if Job would actually curse God and turn away from him, like his wife wanted him to do, right? And guys, I actually love the Book of Job. And the reason why, because I believe that a lot of God's chosen people, guys, our life, it's a call to suffer. Really, it's a call to war. In fact, Job 7:1, some versions say it's like a life's man is like a life of work. Let me get to the verse real quick. Look, Job 7:1. Is there not a time of hard service for a man on earth? Are not his days also like the days of a hired man? So basically, what that verse is saying is that a man's life on this earth is going to be a hard one. In fact, there's even like a version that says a man's life is war. Honestly, guys, it has not been like easy for me. It hasn't been as easy as everyone else has been. Like I said, I'm not saying this in a prideful way. I'm saying like I've experienced like harder things in my life. I'm not saying that no one goes through struggles and goes through suffering, but it's like especially if you're like me and you like kind of been like a lone wolf your whole life. And for me, it's just been like it's been different. I don't know how, I don't know why or how, I don't know what God has for me. It's like something always happens to me. When when a lot of people get something, when it comes to the day to get something is like always happening, or I'm always held back for some reason. And that's what I felt like a lot of my life. I've always been like really held back from something that everybody else was able to get, but then I wasn't able to get. And I've always had to go through like a little bit more suffering, and like go try and almost and take the harder path to get something. You know, this is why I don't like. This is why I don't cheat on tests, because like God's gonna see it, and He's going to convict you, and He's like He might even tell you, go tell the teacher that you cheat on tests, or do whatever, and yes, yes, when you don't cheat on tests, you could risk getting a bad grade because maybe you didn't study, but like it is what it is, At least you honor God with your word. You honor God with your effort on the test, and that's it. Um, Guys, this life is a life of suffering. This is what a lot of preachers won't tell you, or at least I haven't heard from a lot. Especially for a man, your life is like it's gonna be not miserable, but it's like there's gonna be a lot of suffering required. Especially if you are God, when God's chosen. If you're especially if God has chosen you, you're gonna have to endure through a lot more than what the regular person is gonna have to go through. Um, I just heard this verse too. I was watching a video about kind of what I'm speaking on. Hebrews 12, um, Hebrews 12, 5 and 6. Okay. And you have forgotten the exhortation which speaks to you as sons. My son, do not despise the chastening of the Lord, nor be discouraged when you are rebuked by him. For whom the Lord loves, he chastens, and scourges every son whom he receives. Verse 7. If you endure chastening, God deals with you as sons. For what son is there whom a father does not chaste? Verse 8. But if you are without chastening, of which all have become partakers, then you are illegitimate and not sons. So what God is saying here is that if you're not being chastened by God, then you're, in some translations it says you're a bastard, because you were never one of God's children. If you're not enduring chastening, or you're not being like rebuked, or like basically if you're, how can I say this? When God rebukes you, when He rebukes you, when He tests you, and you run away, and you not how can I say this, like, and you run away and you just give up. That means that you probably never, like Paul says, if you were coming to be of the faith, but you went away, you were never of the faith. That's what he says in the first place. And something like I've been reading the book of Job. I've actually been in the book of Job. I believe like a lot of people can relate to him and how much he's suffered too, because a lot of people have had like maybe like a bad childhood, bad past. Um, for me to um, and be honest, it's like seeing a dad leave my life twice. I've seen a dad leave my life twice. Not really knowing like who he is. I mean, of course I'm in contact with him, obviously, but it's like I don't really know him. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I almost don't feel like we're not close. We don't have that. The closeness that a father and son would really have. And I don't say that to be mean. I'm just saying like this is how I honestly like feel inside. Like this is like we're not like I'm not close with him like that. I wish I could be, but I'm not, man. I've had to endure through a lot. Friends, I've had friends leave me, friends move away. Um, one of my best friends, his name was Adrian, and he used to be one of my best friends, man. I don't know where he is now. I don't have his number. I don't talk to him. I don't even know where he is now. Um, just like a lot of stuff that's happened in my life. I've always there's been a level of discouragement, but then it's always God reminding me that he has more for me. He has more for me than what I'm going through right now. He says also, you may not understand what I'm doing now, but in the end, you will understand everything. I don't even know, the reference, but I know for a fact it says that. Um, Here I can, when you can use the Bible app. By the way, I'm using the Bible app. I use it now. I would like to use my physical Bible, but it's more convenient here when you can search it up and get the verse there. You don't have to go through all, not knowing the reference, and you have to go through all the pages. It's really, I mean, it's especially it's more convenient, especially for when I'm making these videos. So, um, hey, let me search up the verse real quick. Here, um, here we go. John 13:7. Jesus answered and said to him, let me give you the context of this. This is Jesus talking to Peter, because Peter was like, Jesus saying, "I'm going to wash you guys' feet," but then Peter said, "No, Lord, shouldn't I wash your feet?" And Jesus said to him, "You may not understand what I'm doing now, but you will know after this." And Peter, the disciples didn't understand what Jesus was saying when he said, that he would maybe like he would be crucified and the temple would be destroyed and would be rebuilt in 3 days. They really didn't understand like until it happened, what Jesus was saying, and that eventually all our sin will be taken care of by Jesus on the cross. Um, Guys, this is a thing called spiritual warfare. I know I've talked about this a lot, and this chastisement too is part of it. And what people don't understand, especially when I read the Book of Job, I studied with the friends. They lied about him. They twisted what God would do to make it seem like this was happening in Job. Now I've read the chapters of what Eliphaz and Elihu were saying. They would say things like that. Yes, they are true, but while they are true, it's not what was happening in Job's context, in Job's situation, because Job was suffering because God was testing him. It's not that Job did anything wrong. that in fact in Job chapter 1 and 2, at the end of both those chapters, it establishes that God establishes that Job was a righteous man, that he was a righteous man before God. He feared God, he hated evil, he turned from evil, he he hated sin, he hated evil. And so what his friends didn't understand what they were saying is that, oh, you must have done something wrong to receive all this suffering. Maybe you just need to repent and pray more so you can just have your life all fixed up. Guys, even Jesus went through this stuff. Even Jesus said, my God, why have you forsaken?" Even Jesus felt like that at one point. I'm reading Job, and guys, if you really like read the chapters, you'll see the extent of where Job wanted to die, guys. He wanted to die because of all the suffering he was going through. And I'm gonna be completely honest. I've never been suicidal, but there are times where I feel like so alone in this earth because like we are born again, we're of the spirit, and a lot of people aren't born in the spirit. There's been times where I've just been like, "Bro, I'm on this earth, and I'm like, I really don't want to be on this earth anymore. I kind of just want God to take me already." That's not to say I'm suicidal or anything. I've never been suicidal. I'm definitely not. I'm not gonna off myself. But sometimes I just really wanted to just like not be here. How can I say this? It's like when God gives you a mission, and you're willing to do it. You're gonna be willing to do it, and you're gonna endure through it. You are. But sometimes in your walk, it gets to a point where it's like you don't know what to do anymore. Maybe you've had so much suffering and a lot of pain to the point where it's like you don't know like why you're even still here. You're just going through all the suffering. Sometimes you even start believing that I feel like I'm going through this just to go through it. I mean, I don't really know why this is happening. And then just know that you're not gonna understand what God's doing now, but He will bring it full circle when the time comes. Um, Isaiah, I think 60:22 says, "When the time is right, the Lord will make it happen." And that verse about you may not understand what I'm doing now, but you will understand later. I actually heard that verse today. I think. Yeah, I'm hearing that verse twice. I think I heard it yesterday too. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it's just God encouraging me. I'm saying choose the harder path, and the reason I'll say that is because you know, yes, in this walk there will be suffering, there will be trial and tribulation, and maybe even get to a point where you just don't want to be here anymore. Like I've said, I'm confessing this. I'm trying to be honest with you guys. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this walk. Because I'm gonna be honest, this is what a lot of preachers and like Christian preachers won't tell you guys. They're not gonna tell you that this life is a life of suffering. A lot of people won't tell you just they're trying to water down the walk and make it look like this life is sunshine and rainbows. I'm not saying that sometimes it's not, but like they won't tell you that there's suffering with this. They won't tell you that you're gonna have to endure. A lot of people don't Christians don't understand that. Like there's endurance too. There's endurance to this walk. There's endurance to the Christian walk and having faith. And and the reason Jesus says that those who endure to Him will be saved is first of all He knows His true children. He knows them, and He knows that once you are saved, you are eternally secure and you're going to heaven. And He knows that those who have truly put their faith in Christ are going to endure to the end because they do what He says and they love Him. And Jesus says, "If you love Me, you will keep My commandments." And one of Jesus' commands is to endure to the end. It's also encouragement too. See, like keep going. You may not know what I'm doing now, but you will understand later. And you may be going through all suffering now. Your friends might think you're crazy. Your family thinks you're crazy. Your friends are maybe leaving you. You're losing financially. You're losing money. Um, you know, um, what else? Like everything is just like 10 times harder for you than everybody else. It's because God is he's preparing you too. He's guys. I'm not gonna lie. I was tired this week. We took an SAT on Tuesday. I was not like I'm saying I did bad, but I'm not trying to say this. I'm not like intelligent like that. I mean, I study. I definitely did study to the best of my ability, but guys, the math they gave us was like some calculus. I've never taken calculus honestly. So I just did what I did best. I tried to do what I do. Um, and then I was like tired though. I was like tired a lot from like majority of this week. I was like tired. Took naps. And some of my days I went home. So sometimes when I'm like when I have like a really tiring day, I may have had a hard workout, and it's like really sunny, or I'm just like stressed out. Sometimes just like lay down, take a nap, or I'm feeling like discouraged. I just take a nap, because that's what Elijah did when Elijah was suicidal, and he was like, God, take me because I know better than my fathers. And then Elijah, what? Literally, God made like food for him, like cakes from what I've read. And then he made cakes for him, and then he ate that, and then Elijah just took a nap, and he went up, and then he got up and just like and started continue doing what God told him to do. Well, sometimes it's not really that you're like you want to be away from this earth or just like get off this earth. But sometimes you just need to take a break. You need to rest sometimes. Rest is biblical, and I hate when people try to use the resting part as a way to say that God got tired. Guys, like he didn't get tired. You can rest and not be tired. Like there's a reason behind the Sabbath to keep it holy and to keep it for the Lord. Um, and guys, to bring us back to the Job story and the reason God was getting mad at the reason in the end he got mad at the friends because like I said, um, Job was suffering, but not for the reason that they thought he was, not for the reason that they were making out to be. And they knew that he was a righteous man. And guys, I actually read yesterday they made up stuff about him too. I forgot what verse it was, but I remember because Job was a righteous man. Don't let that get away from you. Job was a righteous man. God declared in His own word, Job was a righteous man. And they started making up things about Job. They started saying, "Oh, Job said, you shouldn't delight in God." They literally made that up about him. Let me find it. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can find it. I don't. I'm not. From where that tab is in my Bible. I'm not. I'm sure I'm not far from there. It's actually upside down. Let's see. Um, let me find it real quick. Look, this is Job chapter 34. This is Elihu talking. This is one of Job's friends. His yeah, quote unquote friends. Remember, Job is a righteous man. He was right before God. So don't let what anything is here saying. Don't let Elihu like kind of lie to you about Job, because they were lying to him, Job by himself. Because God knew that Job was a righteous man. Don't let that get away from you. And chapter 34, verse 9 in Job, it says, Elihu was saying that Job had said that it profits a man nothing that he should take delight in God. So not only were they telling him, not only were they trying to explain to him his suffering and the context that wasn't even applicable, they were lying about him, just straight up lying about him. They were telling him, they're trying to tell people that he said that he actually hates God, and he he's like you're maybe you did something wrong or you're wicked. Guys, it's already established. I'm gonna say this again. It's already established in Job 1 and 2 that Job is a righteous man. That Job is a person who was upright before the Lord. And guys, if you don't believe me, go read this. It's in God's own word. He said this in His own word. Let me bring up the chapters. Um, Job chapter 1, verse 22. This is when Satan had first started, going after Job. And verse 22, it says in chapter 1, "In all this Job did not sin or charge God with wrong." And then the end of chapter 2, um, actually, not at the end of chapter 2, but it's like verse 10. It says, "But he said to his wife, this is Job speaking to his wife, but you speak as one of the foolish women who would speak. Shall we receive the good at the hand of God? Shall we not receive the evil? And all this Job did not sin with his lips." So it was already established so many times in the book of Job that Job was a righteous man before God and that he was upright, right? And like I said, the reason God got mad at him in the end because they were lying about him. They were lying about God. They were lying about why God was testing Job, or God was making Job suffer like this, and they were lying about His servant Job. And if you're gonna lie about God's children, you better be ready for what's to come, because it's not fun what comes. Um, it, this life is a life of endurance, especially if you're a Christian. Like you're suffering. Like everybody goes through something hard, but it's like when you become a Christian, I'm gonna be honest, the suffering gets like doubled almost, like because now you have not only is our people like not only will you maybe have people come after you or like people not like you, now you have demons after you too. And this is what a lot of like Christian preachers that won't talk about. They won't talk about a life of suffering. I've seen like some, but not a lot. Um, I want to leave you guys with an encouraging note. Like God is not, He's not done with you. Like just because you're maybe going through something hard or you're having to go like handle a lot right now, He's not done with you. He's going to help you. and He will strengthen you. If you have the Holy Spirit, He's going to strengthen you either way. So this is the Spirit living inside of you, and He's bringing you remembrance of all things that Jesus has said. Um, we have to fight this. Um, Another way I'm actually experiencing spiritual warfare is like lustful thoughts, man. I remember today I was taking a Bible test. Usually it happens when I go to sleep, and it's because that's quiet. And it's when you're all alone. That's when the devil starts putting lustful thoughts in my head. And I figured out now that's not the only time what he's doing it. Now he's now like whenever I was taking a Bible test, right? We were in theology and we learned about other religions and how to use the Bible to dismantle those religions, right? And so I remember as soon as I started taking the test, it got quiet. The room was quiet because like everybody's taking the test and focusing. I started getting some like really lustful thoughts. I'm like, bro, no way. I was like, not right now, no way. And so I just focused on taking the test. I try to keep my mind as off as possible. Um, the verse James 4:7 really helps though. That verse says, therefore submit yourselves to God, resist the devil and he will flee. So I keep my mind on like the verses that I can use to just like keep my mind on them and not on the thoughts that he's trying to put into my head. Um, because the Bible is really encouraging. It talks about suffering and how being chosen means like if you're chosen by God, you're gonna go through harder things, and because he's preparing you to be like a great. It's like a bow and arrow. When God holds you back a lot, is because like in the future when He lets go, um, you know, He's gonna launch you into something great. So don't lose heart, don't lose hope. Galatians 6:9, I think it says, where it says, do not grow weary in sowing, for we will reap. So for do not grow weary in doing good, for we will reap if we do not give up. It's about endurance, man. That's what a lot of people won't tell us. Um, um, That's really all I have for this video. This is like I just found like a random video about this, and I've seen it happen in my own life. So I was just speaking. I just decided to speak about it because I also haven't made a video in a while. So I'm doing what I can with these videos. I don't really expect to get a lot of like views or subscribers or anything. I mean, I don't really care about it. I mean, I wish I had more so I could get the videos out more to people that need to hear the gospel. But this is really all I can do right now. I'm doing well with what I have. Um, I'm gonna keep enduring. I'm gonna keep preaching and keep giving the gospel because it needs to get out, whether people want to accept it or not. So, um, yeah, Galatians 6:9. Keep doing good and keep enduring, keep following God, because in the end, He will reward you. Your rewards are in heaven, and if you've been anointed, you'll know. If you're born again, you'll know too. I don't know why so many like I hear so many people who say they're Christians, but then like they're not sure if they're going to heaven. It's like, but if you're born again, you will know you're going to heaven. You should be confident. It's like because like guys, all other religions are wrong. It's just that simple. All other religions are wrong. Think about it. How come in movies and in shows they say they use the name of Jesus as a curse word, and how come it's the only name that's used a curse word, right? And Christianity is the only religion that's mocked. How come it's not Islam? How come they won't do it to Islam? In fact, I know I talked about this a while back, like a couple of days ago. Um, the Coke, there's like a place I don't even know where it is, but it's like you could personalize like a Coke bottle, and then you could. Some people were trying to put religious stuff on it, like Buddha loves you, Allah loves you, right? They would allow that. But if you try to put Jesus loves you, they would say, oh, we can't put this. It's guys, it's coming. It's right in your face now. Like it's right in your face what the truth is, and guys, people hate truth. If people back then didn't recognize Jesus, if like majority of the world didn't recognize Jesus when He came, um, how much do you think they're gonna recognize Him now? And the reason that's happening with like the Coke products and all these movies and stuff is because like Satan knows the time is coming. He knows what he's doing. This is not by accident. This is purely on purpose. Because Satan wants to ban Jesus. They're afraid of Christ. Um, but guys, in the end, we will win. In the end, Christians win. We're right, and all the religions are wrong. I say it confidently because I know who I stand with. I stand with the living, resurrected God. All the gods and all the other prophets are dead. all the people who have claimed to start a religion, they're dead. But Jesus didn't start a religion. He gave us freedom to have a relationship with God. Um, like I said, I can say confidently that all the religions are wrong. All the views are wrong. All the other ways of life are wrong. Because I researched Hinduism. Your morality can be subjective, which is like it's crazy to me how they always say there's no like Hindus and Buddhists are really atheists if you think about it. Because like they don't because like a morality would come from God. You know, it's going to be objective when it comes from God. You know, that's where some stem from, right? But you know, in Buddhism and Hinduism, their morality can be wherever they want. You know, so to me, they say like you're born in whatever you're in. You know, wherever you're born, and you have to be that. So what if you're born into a crime family? Are you gonna start thinking that crime is good? Like Hinduism can't be true. Buddhism can't be true. Um, Islam looks tricky, but it's not true either. Um, but we're gonna keep enduring. Jesus wins in the end. He's coming back, and we know who's the real king. We know who's risen. We know who's not risen. We know who's alive. We know who's dead. We know who can really show himself to people, and we know who can't. We know who can't. And the reason all these other gods can't show themselves is because if they were to show themselves, the devil would appear. And then, guys, the devil's a coward. He's not gonna be honest about anything. He's the father of lies. He's been the father of lies from the beginning of time. He's gonna be the father of lies forever, man. He's always gonna mix in a little bit of truth within his lies. He's always gonna do it. And but just remember, in First John 4, it says, "Those who deny Christ as the Son of God, they have the spirit of the Antichrist." So that's really all I have for this video. Um, I want to say share an encouraging note too. I'm not saying this just to like bring you guys down or make you guys feel like pessimistic about this life. Um, you know, we're gonna suffer now. You know, there's this quote that says, the road to heaven feels like hell, and because it is, and the road to hell feels like heaven. And the reason, because the people that are on the way to hell, the life is comfortable now. The life is it looks fun now. You get to go out partying, you get to have all these friends, you get to I don't know, sleep with women if you want to, if you want to do drugs and everything. It looks fun now, but when you die, like it's hell. But now, for Christians, it's the opposite. It's hell now. You suffer now. You have to go through all the pain, go through all the testing, and then you get the reward. You get to go live forever with God. You get to see Jesus face to face. So I have this video, guys. I hope this encourages you in some way. I don't script any of these videos. I don't write notes about it, except for when maybe I know I'm going to use verses. But even then I just use my phone for that, or if I know exactly where to find the verse in the Bible, I get it from here. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Do whatever you want to, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, peace. I'm out.